On November 4, 1914, the Endurance, a sturdy vessel brimming with the audacious spirit of exploration, set sail from Plymouth. Aboard were 28 men, led by the indomitable Sir Ernest Shackleton, bound for the frigid, uncharted expanse of Antarctica. Their grand ambition was unprecedented: to achieve the first transantarctic crossing on foot, an epic journey of 2,900 kilometers that they hoped to complete in just 120 days. Their meticulously planned route would take them into the treacherous Weddell Sea, aiming to land on the coast, then trek across the South Pole to emerge at the Ross Sea. The very next day, they made their last contact with civilization at a whaling station on South Georgia Island. Despite dire warnings from locals about the perilous conditions of the Weddell Sea, Shackleton, unwavering in his resolve, pressed onward. The foreboding predictions soon materialized. By January 18th, 1915, after weeks of battling increasingly dense ice, the Endurance became irrevocably trapped. The relentless pressure of the frozen sea held her fast, slowly grinding her timbers. For months, the ship drifted helplessly, a prisoner of the ice, as the Antarctic winter descended, engulfing them in perpetual darkness and brutal cold. The ice's grip tightened, eventually crushing the ship's hull. On October 27, 1915, after agonizing days of trying to pump out the surging water, Shackleton gave the heartbreaking order: abandon ship. Just weeks later, on November 21, 1915, the magnificent Endurance succumbed entirely, slipping beneath the ice, disappearing forever. Now, stranded on a vast, drifting ice floe, the 28 men faced a terrifying reality. They had no means of communication, no hope of external rescue. Their remaining possessions were meager: 3 small boats, 1 sledge, a month's worth of rations, and a few personal items. Shackleton, ever the leader, quickly established ocean camp on a stable ice hummock. He mandated a strict 2-pound weight limit for personal belongings for their anticipated overland trek, forcing agonizing choices. The expedition's photographer, Frank Hurley, famously saved just 150 of his 400 negatives, knowing their invaluable historical worth. Food soon became a critical concern, necessitating the heartbreaking decision to put down their husky puppies for sustenance. Their target, a distant beacon of hope, was Paulet Island, some 550 kilometers away, where Shackleton knew emergency supplies had been cached years earlier. The attempt to drag their heavy boats and sledges across the fractured, summer-softened ice proved nearly impossible, yielding mere miles after days of grueling effort. Shackleton made the pragmatic decision to halt the direct march, allowing the ice floe to carry them where currents might. Morale was maintained through strict routines and the relentless hunt for seals and penguins to supplement their meager diet of a daily biscuit, diluted milk, and cocoa. Shackleton, embodying unwavering leadership, often downplayed the severity of their food shortage, understanding that mental resilience was as crucial as physical endurance. As spring approached in 1916, the ice floe, though still drifting, changed course, carrying them eastward, away from Paulet Island. On March 23, 1916, Shackleton spotted Joinville Island, confirming they had drifted far past their original destination. Their options dwindled to 2 remote islands, Clarence or Elephant Island. Beyond them lay the dreaded Drake Passage, the most treacherous stretch of ocean on Earth, infamous for its 12-meter waves, claiming over 20,000 sailors' lives and 800 ships. To prevent being carried into its deadly embrace, Shackleton decided they must make for Elephant Island, some 160 kilometers to the northwest. Thirst became agonizing as temperatures rose and fresh water sources diminished. They resorted to eating raw seal meat and drinking blood to survive. Among the crew was Blackborough, the 28th man, a stowaway who had been warned by Shackleton that he would be the first to be eaten if supplies ran out. A grim jest that, thankfully, never had to be fulfilled. On April 7, 1916, they sighted Clarence Island, a brief surge of hope, but winds again shifted, pushing them away. Their ice floe was now shrinking, too dangerous to remain. Shackleton made the crucial call to board the 3 small boats for the final, desperate push to land. After an arduous journey through a sea choked with ice and battling relentless waves, on April 15, 1916, After 497 days since their ship was first trapped, all 3 boats successfully landed on the desolate shores of Elephant Island. While the joy of touching solid land was immense, the grim reality of Elephant Island quickly set in. It was a barren, uninhabited rock, with no supplies, no means of communication, and no passing ships. Blackborough's foot had developed severe gangrene, necessitating its amputation. Shackleton knew a direct rescue was impossible. He would have to find help. He formulated an audacious plan. He would take 5 men in one of the small boats, the James Caird, and attempt to sail 1,300 kilometers across the terrifying Southern Ocean to South Georgia Island, leaving the remaining 22 men under the leadership of Frank Wild to await rescue. On April 24, 1916, Shackleton and his chosen 5 embarked on what would become one of history's most epic open-boat voyages. For 17 grueling days, they battled monstrous waves, constant seasickness, and the bitter cold of the approaching Antarctic winter. Navigation was almost impossible, relying on glimpses of the sun through storms to use their sextant. Twice, colossal waves nearly capsized their tiny craft. By a miracle, they reached South Georgia Island on May 10, 1916. However, they landed on the uninhabited side of the mountainous island, opposite the whaling station, the only human settlement. Their boat was too damaged for another sea journey. Shackleton, Worsley, and Crean, despite their emaciated state, resolved to do the seemingly impossible: cross the island's treacherous, unmapped interior. This 36-hour continuous trek, which began on May 20, 1916, was a feat never before accomplished in history. Exhausted, unrecognizable, with long beards and blackened faces, they stumbled into the Stromness whaling station, shocking the inhabitants who had long believed them lost. Shackleton's greatest agony remained the 22 men on Elephant Island. He immediately began organizing their rescue, but 3 attempts over 3 months failed due to impenetrable ice. Finally, with a ship supplied by the Chilean government, the Yelko, Shackleton set out once more. Frank Wild, on Elephant Island, had kept spirits alive, creating a makeshift shelter from 2 inverted boats. Every morning he would declare, "Pack up, boys, the boss may come today," despite dwindling hope. Then, on August 30, 1916, after 128 days of unimaginable hardship, a ship appeared on the horizon. It was the Yelko, and aboard was Shackleton. He was stunned to find all 22 men alive and well, a testament to their incredible fortitude and Wild's unwavering leadership. In the end, after nearly 2 years of battling the Antarctic wilderness, Shackleton returned home, having lost not a single man. All 27 men who officially began the expedition were brought back. Though he failed to achieve his original goal of crossing Antarctica, Shackleton achieved something far more profound. He orchestrated perhaps the greatest survival story in human history. Over a century later, in 2022, the perfectly preserved wreck of the Endurance was discovered 10,000 feet deep in the Weddell Sea, a silent monument to an unparalleled epic of human endurance. To hear more incredible stories like this one, be sure to subscribe to our channel. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it.